Howdy y'all. A little bit different scene than you used to see me doing, but something I'm going to try for a little while today. I haven't done in at least 10 years, probably 12 years I've been here. I'm on a river instead of a creek. Lots to look at. I've only got a couple hours to do it. I thought it'd be kind of an interesting thing before we got a major weather system coming in again. I thought it might be kind of cool to come down here and look at a river and try to find something for y'all to look at with me. Stay tuned. This is D.W. Verts. You're watching Hickbilly Outdoors, and we're arrowhead hunting in a place that I haven't been forever, and boy, it has changed. Floating down the river, all by myself. I thank the Lord for giving me this day. I come upstream about, quarter mile or so, going into the current, into the wind. Here I get some of the hardest part over with, which it ain't hard. My boat became a little bit of a leaker craft. I think I got it patched. One of my plugs has a hole in it. There's a plastic bag laying there, so hopefully that'll work. I'm not going to go down with the ship or nothing, so. Plenty of places to look. And on these rivers, they're different than the creeks that feed into them that I hunt more. You can literally find stuff just almost anywhere. You're not going to find as much debitage and pieces on the river, it doesn't seem like. But you surely can find some great pieces. I find a lot of fossils on the rivers. I'm going to look around a little bit. I got a little bit more I can talk about that, about why I also find stuff up there where I don't on the creeks and why I think that happens. So stick with me for a few minutes, folks. Hopefully something will come out of this, besides a pleasant afternoon, evening on the river. For y'all that's never seen quicksand, it's the real deal. I just stepped off that log and went halfway up my knees. Completely, I mean, there's nothing there. Look at that. And got back out of it nasty. Think I'll go wash that off. I'm filled up with gravel. That's the quicksand, so I can probably, everywhere else getting out here will be the same. It'll actually be firmer over here by the water, so that was kind of interesting. Oh, there is so much territory to cover on these rivers, more so than creeks. A little overwhelming, a little daunting. It's definitely a good project for two people or more, especially considering some of the stuff I've already had to climb up and down. But I could have taken the boat further upstream, but I hit a pretty good riffle. It's pretty much going to be a portaging riffle anyway. In a sand pit now. Oh well. Lots of stuff to look at. It's awful interesting stuff to look at. You know, pretty much right there in a nutshell is why we find artifacts in the creeks, in the water. Besides what was lost here originally, is all those banks, all that erosion. Look at that. The stuff that just fell in this thing in the last year would probably blow you away. This creek looks nothing like it did last time I was here. This river is nothing like it was. It's all changing. So that bank falling in, that's what makes all this gravel happen. And once in a while, it brings in something you can find interesting. These gravel bars are so much different than the smaller creeks that feed into the river. A lot more smaller gravel. Not as much the chunky stuff I can hunt around that catches points to me. I haven't seen a rock bigger than my foot yet, except something I'll show you at the end. I have seen one core so far. A few little pieces hit on, but it's further and farther in between for good stuff on this river. But this thing is also fairly consistently give me some of the best points I've ever found. It gives me I've got some museum type pieces from here. I've found more Daltons per hour of looking on this river and rivers like this I ever have on creeks. I don't know why that would be. They got to start on the creeks, you would think. Don't know why that would be. I know of axes been found in this creek. I've never found an axe in any water. So anyway, just keep calling this a creek. It's a small rivers. All the local creeks feed into this area. So anyway, Daltons, here we come. That would be just too cool. In the limited time I have today, Daltons would be just fine. Again, there's just so much to look at here, y'all. Trying to get too shook up about it. Truthfully, I needed a break from the world. And getting on the water in a kayak, if that doesn't give you a break from the world, then you just need to give up. Used to bring my John boat down here years ago, fishing, looking for artifacts. And then in 2012, I bought me one of those little $100, $125 kayaks at Walmart because I wanted to try it for the artifact hunting mostly. Figured it'd be easier to pack around, which it was. Had a blast in it. That first summer was a drought in Missouri. I didn't get to use it a lot. Anyway, a few years ago, golly, I don't remember now, 7, 8 years ago, I traded up this more fishing kind of kayak. It's all I've ever needed. It's a 12-footer. But canoeing and John boating and kayaking a creek and a river, if that don't put you right with God, you're doing something wrong. So much to look at. This gravel bar, I swear to gosh, if it's one I'm thinking of, it's changed so much. This thing used to be just a little corner, a little inside bend, and I almost always found stuff on it, including my buddy found a really interesting Dalton up here years back. Gray and green. I never seen that color rock. It wasn't from around here. Almost a perfect one, but this gravel bar now, shoot, it's 75 yards long. I think I'm on the right gravel bar. It's just changed so much, but it's all good. What we've got is apparently a major weather system coming in. The forecasts have changed the last couple of days. I wasn't too concerned about it until they all started pointing to as much as a couple inches of rain in a real short period tonight. Getting right with myself, getting right with God. That's the plan. I need a little break from life. Stresses I put on myself mostly. Chilling out. Seen some beaver sign, otter sign, muskrat sign. Seen some big head carp, which I knew was in here. They're everywhere almost. Saw a copper moccasin a little while ago. I didn't get the camera turned on time before I freaked him out. There's a chunk's been hit on by man right there. Critters to look at, deer sign everywhere, raccoon stuff, all the cool things that make me a fan of living the way I do and where I do. So we just got a ways to go. Plus I passed up 2 gravel bars coming up. Not to mention all them banks like that. See that bank right there? See how much that stuff's collapsed in? You see that? There is a truckload of dirt right there has spilled in. And it brings with it artifacts. So you have to look at all of it. You really got to look. It's that way all up and down that bank. I bet you that bank used to be, I mean, this is where I'm standing right here. That bank is just, oh, this whole thing has changed. Look at that tree there fixing to fall in. Look at that. Mr. Garfish. No big deal. A lot of them in here, of course. I said you don't find as much debitage on the rivers that you do the creeks. I don't know why that is. You think there'd be more. Real pretty flake right there, though. Sharp. once in a while you'll find a mussel shell like that. It's kind of spectacular in the colors, purples and pinks. Don't know what happens, if maybe it had a pearl in it, made it color up different, whatever, but I just thought that was pretty cool. I know some of the women like his channel especially like that. A pretty mussel shell. Bet you ancient man thought those were cool too, because I've got quite a few buttons and things made out of mussel shells. Because after I ate them, they made stuff out of the shells. How's that for a factoid? Just found a piece of hematite, and you see where it's been hit on some. Who knows? It's a non-metallic. It's a non-magnetic metal. I need to someday find out where it's actually found at. I don't think it's indigenous to this area. I've got several tools made out of it. It's been hit on several times, whacked on, beat on. It's going to go into collection because it is hematite. And like I said, every time you find that, somebody's messed with it. I don't know where they got it from. It's a research project I need to undergo like so many other things. I've probably walked 150, 160 yards this one gravel bar. It's just huge. It was never like this before, but that's okay. Haven't found anything but one core, 5 or 6 flakes, and maybe about the same amount of pieces have been whacked on, spalls, what have you. And I'm not disappointed. I'm a little surprised. I really figured possibly I could maybe have me a little bonanza session. I kind of feel like I'm due for one, whatever that means. You gotta put your time in. And if you haven't watched any of my videos before, you need to go back, because I apologize profusely, and I kind of give up on the fact that I do these videos like they are, like it really is. I do it for that as much as I do to find artifacts. Mama wood duck up there and her babies. Minnows are getting chased over there by something. I think a bass or a flathead hit something on top over there a while ago. I post these videos the way they really happen. There's a lot of videos, a lot of guys find more stuff than I find, and there's some things that are done on the interweb that I ain't a big fan of. Using TNA to make your videos go over, and some of the stuff that's found, I won't say questionable, because there's some pretty good videos out there, and some really nice guys, and follow me real well. They're good hunters, and they take it real serious. But I just show what I do and who I am, and stumbled around and falling down, and I found a few cool things since I started doing this. So stick with me. I'm gonna publish this as a video, I'm sure, even if I don't find anything, because it's all about putting the time and effort in. And it's a lot of time, a lot of effort. But luckily, it's also a very nice, fairly cool late spring evening. A lot of things to see. There's some surface action going on up there. I don't know what kind of fish are still in here anymore. The otters really hurt our creeks and rivers a few years back. But I'm going to hunt to the end of this gravel bar. I got a couple spots I didn't really get hunted on the way back. By then the skeeters will be coming out and I'll be done. So I just feel like I had to, especially if people haven't watched my channel, need to understand every trip's not epic. I'm not gonna make a big show of stuff, because it's all about putting the time in, and you got to put a lot of time in to find these artifacts, and it's worth it in the long run. I've had some pretty good finds this year, and again, an evening like this on the creek, it couldn't get much better, at least for me. So there you are. Big old spall. You know, if you're walking a place like this and you don't feel like an intruder, you're doing something wrong, man. That's all there is to it. really ain't nothing. They never made it. It didn't work. It's got the bulb where it come off the bigger rock, but they tried to work it down. It's got some real nice long flakes on it, but it didn't happen. So I've reached as far as I'm going to go this time. Boy, look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's like I've never been here before in my life, because this river never looked like this. These gravel bars are massive compared to what they used to be. Which, that I guess makes it neat in the fact I've got more stuff to look at. This water is about as clear now as it ever gets. It's awful hard to hunt the water on these rivers. All the clear water creeks pour into them, but they don't get clear enough hardly. They silt real bad. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to shut this thing off and head back. So I'm probably 250 yards from my boat. It's just a gorgeous evening, and I didn't find anything. I'm not done, but I didn't find anything yet. If I do, of course, I'll turn the camera back on. A lot of stuff to look at. Still, nice evening, middle of May. A lot worse things to be doing. I wanted to get my head screwed on straight. I think by the time I get back in that kayak and do a little more floating and looking at banks like that from the boat, which is hard to do, but you just never know where you're going to find stuff in these bigger rivers. It could be anywhere, because it falls in from up there all the time. So if I have to do some special editing to make this more interesting, I won't. I'm going to say bye, y'all. God bless you. Thanks for watching. If you like the stuff at Arrowhead that shows up right down here is what you want to click on. If it don't show up, it means you need to stay tuned, because it means I had to add something. Let's hope it's not there yet. God bless y'all. Bye. Well, there we go. It ain't a bunch, but it is something. No doubt in my mind that is something. It just got too much shape going for it to not be something. Look at there. Look at that. Freeform, blade, what have you. Cool, there you are. So, in my mind, that's always going to be a successful trip right there. Look at that. I think it's preform. It's not really tool shape, so I think that's what we got there. Yeah, cool. Cool. I mean, it takes time. It takes effort. And yeah, it's not a 5-pointer. So many people seem to want to have that notched. It just never made it that far in the process. Wonder what the story was behind that, you know? There must be a story behind it. Success! That's all it takes for me. It was already a successful trip. So now I'll close the video out. I still got a ways to go. I've only went 40 yards since I quit the video. Now, that little arrowhead right down, click on that and subscribe. Thank you guys. God bless. Again. Unless it ain't showing up, and that means I'm not done. I love finding stuff, guys. Tickled. And it ain't much, but it's mine. Look at that. It's mine. Oh, that was good. Cool. It ain't over till it's over. And I ain't said nothing about it being over, except I'm getting closer. Bye. See y'all.